coach?
Robert, do you have a update on Zach?
Yeah, he's on his way to LA to have his procedure, and then we wait.
What are you thinking in terms of time frame?
They'll know more once they get in there. We're optimistic, but he's not out of the woods until they get in there and make the decision.
Are you? I know you were hesitant to say you were optimistic the other night. Are you feeling a little better now that you've been able to get it?
Based on all the information that's been presented to us, feel good. But again, as I'm learning, you never know. So.
Do you have a confidence level on his potential availability for the opener?
I don't. Not yet.
Would you want to, Robert, if there is say the opener is the target for Zach? I mean, there could be an unintentional rush from him to I want to be ready for the opener and kind of start trying to cut the corner to make sure he's there. Would you ever think about just saying, you know what, opener's not happening, take your time, let's make sure that you get back when you get back, you're right?
That's a fair point. It's a really good question. I think that's all going to depend on what happens here with the surgery, and the feedback we get from the doctors, working with Zuff and gathering all the information before we even come remotely close to making that decision. But yeah, that's all valid and something that we'll all talk about once we get all the information we need.
When is the surgery scheduled for, Robert?
I think Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday.
Is that the famed knee doctor? I can't say his name. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
In LA.
Yeah. You think he's a Rams doctor, right?
I think so.
Is Mackay also?
So Mackay is also going to the same doctor, but it's more of a consultation before they make a decision on whether or not they're going to do surgery.
Robert, what was the conversation like with Fant about? It seemed like he was at right tackle, which obviously means Dwayne will be at left tackle.
Yeah. So. For George, his curse is also a blessing in that he's extremely versatile, very athletic. He is a team guy. He's tremendously talented, and so to give him the opportunity to go play right tackle, obviously he's a competitor. He just wants a home. But at the same time, he's the ultimate team guy, and I know he's gonna put in the work, and he's gonna do everything he can to be the best right tackle he can possibly be. But it was a very good, productive conversation. But again, it's sometimes a player's greatest blessing is also a curse. But I think he's gonna be great out there.
Does it help that they have a relation? You're not moving him for a guy off the street. Him and Dwayne obviously go way back.
That'd be more for a question for him. But I don't think George really has an issue with anything either. So but I do think it's good to have familiar faces. We need to get those five playing together a lot faster. We have not had continuity with that group for a while, and at all during OTAs or training camp, and we just want five guys to play together and build some continuity.
Even in the offseason, you were really high on the way George played last year at left tackle, even going so far as to say, he's got a good chance to win that job.
Yeah.
So is that a tough decision for you to take a guy?
It is, because you still want to put your best five forward, right? You have to. That is the number one responsibility for all of us, is to protect the quarterback. And you can argue that George's left tackle production was better than when he played right tackle, but that was a different scheme. We think he'll be fine playing right tackle in our scheme. He hasn't had a chance to play right tackle in our scheme. He played left tackle last year. His right tackle production numbers came from two completely different schemes, and so we think he's going to be fine. We think he's a very gifted athlete. He's very smart. He's got the right mindset to him, so we think his production is not going to drop off at all.
You mentioned the need for continuity. I think Rich was actually writing about Dwayne last year with Seattle, where he didn't practice that much and not physically, but because of his age. So is that a concern at all, that you are bringing in a guy who's 37, who there's a lot of snaps on
we had really good talks with Dwayne. A lot of their time off was because they had to play on turf because of all the rain and all that stuff. So they practice on the indoor a lot more. So there's a lot more take it easy on the knee. We play on grass, and we practice on grass a heck of a lot more. And with our performance staff and the way we have our practice schedules, we feel like we'll be able to get the work in that we need, especially from a protection standpoint, and all the different walkthroughs we have to get him the work that he needs.
Real quick, just you had mentioned that Mackay's going for a consultation.
Mm-hmm.
He's also not on the injured reserve list yet. So do you guys still think there is a chance that he could play?
We're anticipating that he's done for the season, but until that's official, he won't go on IR.
What is the plan for Dwayne when he gets in here? Like, are you going to do a few days of conditioning like you did
Same,
with Quan?
same with we're going to see where he's at. I have a feeling he'll be just fine, and he'll laugh off the conditioning measures that we have. But we just want him to. He'll just go through that hurdle. Yeah.
With Zach, you had hopes for training camp and his development. Enjoy practices with Atlanta and the Giants. How much of a setback is this just in terms of development-wise?
It's a setback in that he's missing an unbelievable opportunity to get these reps in, to play other defenses, to especially the Giants who have such an elaborate pressure system. But he's got to stay dialed in, just like he was last year when he was hurt. Learn from his teammates and try to be involved as much mentally as he can possibly be. And the timing of it all is terrible and it sucks. But I think Zach can still have an opportunity to grow from it if he attacks it mentally.
Robert, you think on the big picture?
Joyner has illness.
More of a big picture question on Zach. I mean, it's 2 knee injuries to the same knee in a 10-month span. So is there any long-term concern about the stability of that knee?
That's probably more of a question for Docs, Rich, in terms of, I don't think there's any concern on our part, but he's still young, but that's probably more for a doc to answer that question.
We talked about Carl Lawson playing in that preseason opener. What changed?
That was me, and he was pissed. So they were him and CJ. The intent was to play them both, and I woke up that morning and I just said, you know what, I'm going to let them go through the mental aspect of it to get their bodies right, and so they were mentally preparing themselves to play, and then we were in the locker room before kickoff, and I told them to leave their helmets in the locker room, and that was for me for Carl, so it's not overload, and for CJ, so they're not getting such an overload of emotions. Just kind of step it. They cleared the emotional hurdle. All right, now let's, especially for Carl, more so than CJ, but he's cleared the emotional hurdle. Next game he'll play for sure. Atlanta, yeah.
Robert, you've obviously spoken a lot about Joe Flacco and your confidence in him. Now that he's going to be in there and he's obviously taking reps, can you speak to what you expect out of him once, as you approach week 1 and whatnot?
Yeah, he's a pro, he's a veteran, he's been there, he's done that, he's a Super Bowl MVP, he's a world champion, he's gotten the big contracts, he's pretty much checked almost every box you can check. He knows how to play the game. He's very calm, he's collected. We had the 2-minute drive, very smooth in his operation. He just, he's a veteran, and so he's just going to be I just expect him to approach it like he has in his entire career.
Just as a quick follow there, he hasn't really been playing for a while in real games. Is there a little bit of a silver lining here? I mean, obviously, nobody wants Zach to be out, but for him to be in there and actually be performing and maybe show you that this guy's going to win games for you, still has that in him.
I think he's going to be fine, especially for the remainder of preseason. We'll see everything else with Zach's knee and how that comes out, but we got all the faith in the world in Joe. He played last year, his first start against Miami, who was absolutely rolling, and he threw for over 300 yards at home. Obviously, we didn't win, but he did what he needed to do, and the offense played the way it needed to play. So he's a pro. He's going to figure out how to get it done. So.
You think he'll play in the preseason, the last 2 preseason games?
He's got to play, yeah.
It didn't escalate too much, but towards the end of practice, Nathan Shepard and Garrett Wilson were face to face.
You know what? I'm actually so proud of Shep, because you guys have been around Shep. That would have been a big time brawl for a younger Shep, but for him to show restraint with Garrett, which I thought was no offense, Garrett, but I thought it was kind of cute. But it's going after Shep. It's just, but I know Garrett's a competitor and God, he's intense. He was went up a whole nother notch on game day, which I thought was awesome. But I want to celebrate Shep, because old Shep would have been punching and swinging, and he remained composed, which was awesome.
Does that though say, just following up on that though, does that kind of show something about Garrett though? I mean, he's not.
He is.
I think DK Metcalf.
Well, you look at him, but that's on game day, it just went to a switch to another level. He is an ultimate competitor. I know how hard he is on himself if he drops a ball, if he misses an assignment, if he doesn't do something right, if he doesn't win a one-on-one. everything is personal to him. And when people live with that chip on their shoulder where everything is personal, they usually find ways to get things done. So I do appreciate that part of his game.
Carson and Rich.
Robert, how impressed were you with Strebler Friday night for a guy who I don't think he got any team reps?
No, he's. We just talked about it in our team meeting room. Production versus trust, and you can have a woe is me mentality. He hasn't had a rep. He hasn't had a walkthrough. He hasn't had anything for 3 weeks, and then he's with the full understanding that he's playing the fourth quarter of the preseason games, and he steps in there and he just up and down the field, and he's just playing quarterback, and he throws a nice 7-cut to CJ to win the game, just calm, collected, been there, done that, and just a great example for every professional throughout all 32 teams that you can either complain and dwell on what your opportunities are or what your circumstances are when you get your opportunity, or you just go dominate. And that's what he demonstrated, and I thought it was really cool to see.
Just on Chuma, is he dealing with something? Because it didn't seem like he was.
Yeah, I think he had something in practice. I'll get the update here in a minute.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks, guys. I don't think it's serious.